A minute or two to join. We are about to do the class on overwhelmed and underpaid, how to have a clinical holistic practice that doesn't make you sick. Hey, Daddy. Thanks for being here live. So listen, we had given you a poll of which one you wanted first. Did you want the overwhelm or underpaid, or did you want the mood and money one? And actually, you all chose the mood and money to come first, but we realized we had such a short turnaround. Since that one was the one that most people wanted, was the mood and money, we decided to go ahead and do this one first, overwhelmed and underpaid. And some of the information is going to cross over. So you're going to get some information on that you would have gotten on the other one. So, hey, Jakey Cakes. That's my brother. Good to see you all. Good to see everybody here live. Okay, so we're going to start with this one, overwhelmed and underpaid, how to have a clinical practice that doesn't make you sick. So I want to get, I'm still going to give just a few more minutes for folks to come in. And I want to get a little situated here. Randy and I are in a hotel. We're in a Marriott. I really love this one. It's so beautiful. And I thought, let's see, how can I have some good lighting? So while we're waiting for people to come in, I'm going to figure out my setting. Don't you all love this? Who loves this background? I was like, would that look good in my home office, or is that overkill? What do you all think? I think that's such a pretty background. Let's see. I'm going to try to, whoops. I may have just broke my camera there. Yeah. So you guys can vote on that. Try putting it up on the window. Ooh. Would I be able to put it up on the window? I don't think that's going to work. There's no, that's such a good idea. But there's no space. I'm going to move over to the side of the room that's got like the nightstand. We're going to try that. Let's see how this looks. Oh, can you see me? As long as you can hear me, that's the big thing, right? All right. I think this might work. I'm going to turn this light on. Let's see. Oh, AC unit. It's got some thinking people in here. I think this works. Everybody can see me. This is good. Now, here's the test. Can you still hear me? Based on how I have it set in there. Let me know if you still hear me pretty well. Hey there. Looks good. Excellent. You can hear me. Yes! Success! So we can get started then. We can get started with today's lesson. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Renee Hughes, and I am the owner and founder of the Aroma Specialist. And what we do is we train and partner with clinical holistic practitioners to help them to have a really clear message about what it is that they do, how they do it. And we help them to clarify the problem that they solve. We help them to launch new programs and new offers. And we help them to get known for what it is that they do on a variety of stages. So that is what we do. And we primarily do that through a program that we call the Holistic Champions Mastery Program. But we always have these free offers like what we're doing right now, and even a low-cost offer where you can learn these things. So today's topic, overwhelm and underpaid, how to have a practice that doesn't make you sick. You might be thinking, so where did this topic come from? And always our topics come from talking to our audience. So one of the things that you'll learn working with us is that you always want to be answering the question that your audience is asking most. And this subject of having a clinical holistic practice that's profitable and that's fun, but that doesn't make you sick is a big thing. So why do we say doesn't make you sick? People are literally, physically, and emotionally sick trying to run a practice. Why does that happen? So much overwhelm and just the building of it, the day-to-day of what it takes to have a clinical practice. Many of you may have started, with as licensed therapists and psychologists and things like that. You had patients coming to you. Maybe you were working within a hospital or another platform that brought you patients. Now you're coaching and you have to get your own clients. And some of you who may be still in your licensed practice, you have to get patients. And so getting that and setting that up and keeping it going where it can feed you and your family can be stressful. Being an entrepreneur itself can be stressful, which is why a lot of people opt for just the regular 9 to 5. I mean, it's not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody being an entrepreneur. It comes with a unique set of challenges and stress. And that ongoing stress can make you sick. So this is what we're seeing with people are literally dealing with chronic stress, high blood pressure, digestive issues, and it's really linking back to this continuous stress of trying to run a business. Okay. So we wanted to address it. We wanted to talk about this overwhelm of running a practice. Here's the other part of it. Especially many of my clients help people with emotional support. So we are working with life coaches. We're working with licensed social workers. We're working with therapists. We're working with people who are helping other people with their trauma. And when you're dealing with that kind of topic day in and day out, what happens? What happens? We love, hey, Abby, we love our clients, and we care about our patients, and we want people to be helped by what it is that we do. But because we're also human, sometimes the residual of that stays with us, of listening to the actual trauma that people are going through. We have the skill to help them. We know how to help them to process that. We know how to help them to deal with it, but you're still human. And so some of that, even with your skill, we have the skill set where we know how to separate it and we know how to not carry that through our day. We still can sometimes have a residual effect from just having an awareness and a little bit of a heaviness of what people are going through. Some of my clients, some of you are helping people with physical pain and trauma and diseases and chronic illnesses. These are heavy things. And so because of that, you're carrying some of that, and that stress can make you sick. So we wanted to talk about today, and I just simply wrote a little page of notes, very simple approach to some things that we can do. So I'm going to go over these with you, and we're going to talk it through. Let me just finish this particular topic. So I had underneath here why we're doing this topic. So why this topic? And anxiety. So we talked about that already, the anxiety that many of you are having. Not enjoying your business anymore. So this is happening to a lot of you. You feel guilty about it because you're helping people, especially many of you with their mental, emotional, physical health. But guess what? Sometimes it doesn't feel good anymore and you're not enjoying it. We talked about literally physically being sick. You all are noticing chronic flare-ups. You're noticing digestive issues. You're noticing skin breakouts. You're not well. And you're thinking, you know what? I need to take better care of myself. How do I do this and still have a practice? And then my other one here, we kind of addressed too, is not paying the bills. So here you are, you're working, but the bills aren't being paid. And that in itself is a stressor. Okay. So this is why we're having this particular topic. All right. So this is kind of how it's going to cross over with our other subject. Remember, we said that we were going to do the mood and money conversation, and the team will let you know when we're going to do that. I think it's going to be next week sometimes. We're actually going to do that one as a challenge. Let me not get off track. That one's going to be fun. I'll tell you about that. We'll let you know about that. But it's going to cross over this subject of not paying the bills. Okay. And this whole idea of being underpaid, overwhelmed and underpaid, crosses over with that too. The overwhelm and the underpayment kind of links up with one another. One of the reasons why you're overwhelmed is because you're underpaid. And one of the reasons why you're underpaid is because you're overwhelmed. So how does that work? I'm going to get into some of these others in a minute, but I want to just kind of talk about those two words. If you are overwhelmed in your work, then your skill level, how you talk to people, what you say to them, how you come across, is not going to be the kind of energy and the feeling that's going to attract the right kind of clients to you. It's not a good energy for growth. And so because of that, then you're going to be underpaid. You're going to be underpaid because you're going to be too overwhelmed to work. You're going to be too overwhelmed to perform well in your coaching or in your practice. You're going to be too overwhelmed to have these sales conversations that you need to be having, to be in front of people in the speaking gigs. You're not going to feel like doing it. And so then you're not going to get paid. You see how those two go? If you're not getting paid, you're working and you're not getting paid, then you're overwhelmed because you're not paying the bills. So you see how those two work together. We have to simplify things so that you're not overwhelmed. You can show up the way that you need to so that you can get paid the way you need to. And it's this circular thing. That makes sense to everybody? Give me a yes here in comments if that's making sense to you. You understand what I'm saying. All right, so now let's take a look at this section, what it looks like when we correct this. So what does it look like when we correct these things? The first thing I have written here is you literally will have shorter work weeks. The weeks that you work are going to be shorter. So you're either going to have shorter days or shorter weeks. You're going to gain back control of your schedule. That's going to help the overwhelm up here. Okay. Getting a schedule that works with your life and what you need. So many of you volunteer. Many of you have a family. Many of you have other things that you're doing. And because you're trying to manage it all, we go back up here to overwhelm. You need to not be working as much, but you need to work more efficiently. So this is what it looks like when we nail this. You're actually working less. The one right underneath there is fewer hours. So shorter weeks or fewer hours, you're working on a schedule. That's the clear thing. Type here in comments, schedule. Type schedule if you get what I'm saying here, schedule. Because some of you have schedules, some of you don't. And I preach about this all the time. If you work your business like you do, or like you did, when you had that regular job, you get up and you go to work. I mean, it's not a matter of, oh shoot, I don't feel like it today. I'm going to call in, I'm going to let the boss know, and I'm going to call in, and I'm going to call in. How long would you have that job if you treated it like you do your current business? See, we have to do that. We have to treat it like we do any job, right? But the beauty of being an entrepreneur is that you really do get to choose your own schedule. And when you do that and you stick to it, then we're going to be able to reduce that overwhelm. So schedule is so important. Here's the other thing that's going to happen, your confidence level. So knowing what to say and how to say it, what to do next in your business. So here's the other thing that's happening with the overwhelm. When you go to work, it's like you don't know what to do. You've tried this, you've tried that. Some months you're doing well, some months you're not. What should we do next? I don't know who I'm supposed to be talking to. I'm not getting speaking gigs. People aren't hearing from me. I'm writing blogs. What do I write about? What kind of articles should I write? Who's going to read it? Who should I be talking to? Should I be doing social media? If I do, how do I do it? I don't really like social media. I don't like speaking to people. Like all these different things. And you're kind of round robin with it in your head. So that when it's time to work, you're kind of like, okay, I'll do this today. So-and-so that I follow says that they do this. So I'll do this today. And then tomorrow I'll do this. A lot of you are in courses, but you're not doing what you're supposed to do in the course. Like you're not following it. We had someone who came to our Bolden book the last time who was in 4 different courses and hadn't been following up on that. So I challenged her. I hope you're listening to this. I challenged her to finish the course she was already in and then get back to me. And I said, put your back into it. Like you invested in it, do it. And then let us know where you are at that point, right? So again, scheduling yourself and really doing the program so that you know you can build your confidence and you know what to do. This kind of connects with what's underneath here, which is have a system. See that? Have a system. So you're going to be confused if you don't have a specific system that you're working. If you have a system that you're working to not only build your business, because a lot of you that follow us, you have one, but you're seeing there's just these ebbs and flows, which is natural as an entrepreneur. But if you want more consistency and more retention, we talked about this earlier, more retention, you have to have a system. You have to have a system for not only consistency, but for growth and retention. You need all of that. You need consistency, you need growth, and you need retention. Okay, all of those things are what have you have a solid practice that's going to get you paid and not with overwhelm. So paid, but not in overwhelm. That's what we want. Okay, so have a system, have a specific system, and then work that system. Here's another thing. Sometimes we've got too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many cooks in the kitchen. And what that looks like is that sometimes we are working with a team, which we recommend. You need to be working with the team, at least one VA, but you need to be working with people who, and definitely, of course, because I'm a mentor for people in this space, we recommend that you work with somebody. It doesn't have to be us, but you need to work with somebody who is helping you to follow a system, a specific system. But you don't need 5 or even 3 different people. So this goes back to people, not only one person, but people that we kind of send back to who they were already working with. You know, figure out who is going to be the person who helps to guide you, and then who's going to be your team member, and stick with them to get things done. You don't want to keep doing that start and stop thing. Okay. Okay, here's the other thing. Wrong clients or patients who don't get what you do. So that is what happens. So when you get this right, what it looks like is you're working with people who really understand what it is that you do. They love it. They refer to you. Remember about a week ago, I did a live on Are You Referable? And the reason that I did that is because what we realize is that a lot of times people, even your clients, or those of you who have patients, people don't know how to refer you. So when you're really, really kind of have got this clarity around what you do, how you do it, who it's for, that's going to help you to get more and more clients that love what you do and understand what you do. That's going to help you to not be overwhelmed. Overwhelming is when you're getting clients or patients who come to you and you sit down, they're on your calendar, and they come into your office or they pop up on Zoom, and they're coming there for the exact wrong purpose. Like what they're coming to talk to you about is not what you do. You're not getting referrals. Okay, so that's going to keep you in overwhelm because you're constantly reinventing the wheel and starting over, finding new clients. We want retention. We want referrals so that it's an ongoing thing versus start over again. And this person finished my program or course, so I'm starting over again. So you don't want to just kind of continuously be starting over because that's definitely going to keep you in overwhelm, and you most likely are not going to be paid. Here's the other thing. When people know what it is that you're doing and you've gotten results for people, that keeps you from being underpaid. If you constantly feel like you're starting over, you're starting with new people, you don't have proof of what your program or your school or your practice does, it's going to cause you to always be looking for specials to give people, always be looking for discounts, always be looking for a way to just get clients in the door. And that causes you to be underpaid. And when you're underpaid, then again, like I said, it connects back to the overwhelm, because now what's happening is you have to try to do more. Whereas if you were getting paid properly for what it is that you do, you could really focus on those clients and really take good care of them. They're going to get better results and you're not overwhelmed. You see how those two work together, the overwhelm and the underpaid. So we need to be able to charge what it is that we do, but we've got to be good at what we do, and we've got to be getting results, and we have to know how to communicate those results to people. That's going to help you, again, to not be overwhelmed or underpaid. Hang on one second. I literally can't read my writing. Okay. Complete results. So that goes back to this whole idea of making sure that we take people from one thing to the next. So, okay, I'm going to give you an example. So some of you are working with people. I'm going to give you an example of where you might, a couple of examples of where you might not be able to completely solve something for people, but still your practice and what you do is worth it. Okay. The first one is going to be someone who's dealing with trauma, like you're helping people go through trauma. I have several people that I teach that are in that arena. All right. Can we undo the trauma? So love to hear your comments on that. As a licensed practitioner or as a certified coach, can you undo the trauma that a person has experienced? So I know some of you are going to be watching some replay, so I'm going to answer that. So we can't. Obviously, we can't go back in time and undo that. So does that mean, right, Danny says no. So does that mean then that we're never going to get a complete result? So that's what my note says, complete result. No. And what that looks like is we have to be very clear in communicating what the result is that we're getting for that client. Okay. So when you're helping people to understand on the front end, no, we're not going to erase your trauma, but we're going to change how you move through life. We're going to help you to process things in a different way, to process things in a way that allows you to live your life with joy. You know, you find what it is that you can do for them and you communicate that very clearly so that when you're working with people, they can get a complete result and they know they've gotten a complete result because they were clear on what it is that you were doing with them. That makes sense? So we have to make sure that we have that clarity of here's what I do. This is what I'm going to be helping with. This is the result you're going to get. Another example, a lot of you are helping people with, like we said, with physical, chronic illnesses. Can you cure that illness? No, can't cure it. You can't cure it, but maybe your practice is to help them to endure it. Maybe your practice is to help them to lighten it. Maybe your practice, depending on what the chronic illness is, maybe there are some that can help it to go into remission. So whatever it is, as long as you're clearly explaining that on the front end, then you can still get a complete transformation, even if the person still has the thing that they came to you for. Because what they're actually coming to you for is the result that you've promised. Does that make sense? The result that you've promised is what they're coming to you for. If you're clear on that, you're going to get more complete transformations because you did what you could do in your area of specialty. We need to make sure that you have those complete transformations so that people can hear from you that you're doing that. When you do that consistently, then you're going to be able to get paid. You don't feel like, you know what, my people aren't transforming. I'm not getting the results. So let me do this for $99. Let me do it for this. Let me do it for that because I don't have the testimonials. No, be clear on what you're doing for them so that you can say, the person can say, I came to, so Danny, they could come to you and say, hey, I came to Danny because I wanted a simple way to learn aromatherapy without like getting, a whole certification thing. I just wanted to know how to do it for me and my family. So when they actually do that, they can say, I got a complete result from Danny, right? That's naturally D. So that is a big piece of what it's going to look like as we balance our businesses out and getting rid of the overwhelm so that we can get paid and getting paid so that we can get rid of the overwhelm. All right. So the last section is, so how do we do that then? The first thing is simplifying. So what does that look like? Well, simplifying your approach goes back to working within a system. You want to be working with a system. Please stop reinventing the wheel. Have a system, rinse and repeat. Have a system, rinse and repeat. Like, do something that works. It should be a system that has actually gotten you clients, and it's gotten you clients that you love working with. You know, okay, this system works. All right. So you keep doing it. You keep doing that system. All right. Another way of simplifying is you don't always have to do business the way somebody else is doing business. So what I'm doing today is a perfect example, and it's one of the reasons why I did it this way. Get you a pen and paper. How many people do you see doing lives with sketched out notes? Usually they're just talking to you without the notes, or they're doing a presentation, they're sharing their screen, which I do that a lot too. But my team and I had to make a decision. It was like, I'm not going to be able to use my screen. And I said, you know what? I'll write notes. And I actually love doing it this way. I probably won't always do this way because people can't read my handwriting. I can barely read it. But it's such a cool, simple way of teaching and showing people what to do. It fit in with my lifestyle. We're traveling a lot right now, and I could do this. It's simple but effective. It's simple but effective. Find out ways that you can do that in your business. What can you simplify today? What can you do that's a little different from how you've done it before, that's simplified? And tell me, how many of you like this? Yeah, how many of you like that I did this, that I just brought on some sketched out notes? And how many of you find it unprofessional? Be honest with me, you know? But I think that it's such an important thing for all of you to do business in a way that fits you. So sometimes here's what happens. We over prepare and we overthink things, and we think it has to be spot on perfect. How was I when I got on camera today? I didn't even have my setup. Some of you would never do that. And I'm not saying that you should match my personality. That's just my personality. I roll with it. But it's the reason that my business is the way it is, because I've learned how to roll with things, and I'm not looking for perfection. But some of you will, you're never going to do that. Like, you're looking at the lighting and you're making sure everything is perfect, and then you go right into it, right? There's nothing wrong with that if it's not holding you back. If it's not holding you back, sometimes you just have to press live and go for it. Really and truly, think about the people that you enjoy following. How many of them have perfection all around them, and they look perfect, and everything their surrounding is perfect? And are those your favorite people? Some of you, maybe the answer to that is yes. It's not for me. I like people who are in their natural element, and they're just really connecting. Yes, like Danny said, authenticity. Let people know who you are. And for some of you, it is like you are, like you've got to have it just so. All right. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is try to simplify. Even if you have that personality type and you're like, I've got to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right. Okay, that's fine. But can you make it something about your process? Simplify. Danny, what did I tell you the other day? So Danny's one of our mastery clients and doing very well. And I mentioned to Danny the other day, she's got a video series coming for you guys. You've got to make sure you follow her. Danny, put your IG and your YouTube here in comments. The video series, I was like, I don't want you recording it and re-recording it. Let people see your mistakes. It's okay. They can see your mistakes. They can see that you're nervous. It's okay. You want to come with value. You don't want to go on live unprepared or do a recording, especially something people have paid for, and it's not good and it's not detailed. Absolutely not what we're talking about. But what we're talking about is how can you simplify the approach? How can you be a little bit more human and a little bit more authentic and be you and move through your spaces so that you are getting the work done versus overwhelming yourself. You're overwhelming yourself because you're trying to do it perfect and people aren't even looking for that. All right. So here are some more things under simplicity. Having a strategic system that works for you and repeat. We talked about that. Don't have to do it like somebody else does. We talked about that. Be yourself and do more of what you do naturally. I want to talk about this part a little bit more. We talked about authenticity. But I want you to also start thinking about how you can do you and do business in a way that's feels comfortable. What are some of the things that you enjoy doing that you could link up with your business? What are some of the things that you enjoy? So the other day I was in Home Depot, and one of our clients, Denise, who is a permaculture specialist, I immediately thought about her. I was just like, oh my goodness, like she can show me how to have like a whole section in this house myself doing what she does, the way she does it. So I talked about it. I just clicked live and I talked about it just in that moment. Could you do things more like that? Can you use your everyday life, things that you're doing anyway, to help you? Lee April of Composed Warriors, another one of our clients, she found her sweet spot with putting her phone just in her car. It's some of her best videos because she's just naturally going about life, and that's where she's comfortable. Can you do that? Can you talk to people in a natural element? Can you even return some of your calls, your phone calls, not while you're driving, but maybe while you're walking? You're getting your walk in for today, for the day. A lot of my calls, I might talk to my team while I'm out walking. Yes, I'm out of breath, but they understand I'm out walking. You know, some of my clients, some of you who you get my WhatsApp messages, my clients have that one-on-one communication with me. So I'm talking to them on WhatsApp. I do that a lot of times while I'm walking, while I'm cleaning the kitchen, while I'm cooking dinner. And it makes the business so enjoyable because I'm relaxed, my creative juices are flowing, and I can get on there and answer their questions. Now, there are times when I need to be in private and their message was private and I've got to listen to it in private and my response needs to be private. And so that's a different thing. But other times I can do what I naturally do and I can be in my element and serve my client. Can you do things like that? It may not be exactly that way because everybody's business is set up differently, but what can you do to simplify the way that you're moving through your business? Okay, whether it be building or serving the client. All right, number 2. So the number 1 was simplify. All of that was under simplify. Number 2, stay consistent so that you get results and you don't have to keep starting over. If I could write a book, I really think I would write the book on not starting over, not reinventing the wheel, because so many of you do it. And I have done it in the past. And I don't even know how to say it in words. It is one of the biggest killers of success. So what happens is you get scared. I will see you. I see you do it. You get started and you start doing really well. And that internal fear kicks in and you say, you know what? I don't want to do this. I want to do something different. Hey, Renee, I'm going to start this new message. I just realized I don't want to serve this community. I want to serve a different community. I want to do it differently. I want to do a different offer. And so you start all over. Or you plan an event. It's a workshop or it's a teaching event, or maybe it's an enrollment event like Built and Booked. And you say, that's too much. That's too big of a thing. Like people aren't going to come to it. You know what I'm going to do instead? I'm not going to do events. I'm going to do just lives. And that's how I'm going to enroll my people. And then you do that for a while and you say, you know what? It's just, I don't want to really, I'm not a social media person. So I'm going to do it a different way. You see the pattern? So sometimes you have to get really honest with yourself and say, am I doing that? Or do I have a real system that works? And am I continuing to do this? Have a strategy, have a system that's customized for your business, and then do it again and do it again. And yes, you will tweak here and there, and sometimes you'll do more of this than that. All of that's fine. But you need to have a system and you need to be consistent. Now, this does not mean that you don't take off. It goes back to what we talked about having a schedule. Yes, you're going to take time off, but do it on a schedule. I love this guy. Oh, I wish I could think of his name right now. I'm going to tag him in this post because what he teaches is so important and I cannot think of his name at the moment. But he was speaking at my husband's, a seminar that my husband was doing. And it was so beautiful. He said, I can't say it like he did, but he was talking about this whole idea of work-life balance. And he was just like, when we become an entrepreneur, all of a sudden we need to take these big gaping time, pieces of time off. But now when we were in the office, we realized, yes, we wanted work-life balance, even more so now people are wanting that. But we knew we weren't going to take 2 months off at a time. We weren't going to even take 2 weeks every other month, because that's what, we weren't going to have a job. He also talked about being being the worst boss. So you have these different kind of bosses. So think back to, some of you are still in regular work, or think back to when you were there in your 9 to 5 and you're in an office. And, you have some of those employers that just let you get away with anything. You're not doing a thing. You're sitting there. You're not getting any results for them, but they just never catch it. Or you call in sick, you're not really sick, those kind of things. And then you have those other bosses who are like, so this is what needs to be done. We need this result and we need it by Friday. What'd you do? If you needed the job and you wanted the job, you did it. You got it done. Be that kind of person. Be that kind of boss where it's like, I need to get this done. Yes, I got the sniffles. My throat is hurting. I have a headache. But guess what? I have a quota. I have to get something done, so I'm going to get it done. I'm going to shout out my team right now, especially Miss Lakeisha Gale, for those who have seen her and worked with her. So though many of you know, and some of you don't know, my family had a tragedy over the last 2 months. It started on April 12th. My brother-in-law got sick, and I won't tell you the whole story, but we lost him. And I could not work, and I should not have been working. That wasn't the time to be working. But because of the team that I have put in place, and because they each are given the latitude to be leaders in their own right, they knew what to do, and they did it. And we were able to keep going, and our clients were still happy. And our clients were so kind and sweet about it, and praying for us and giving us the sweetest notes. But they were also taken care of, even though I was away. And so that's important. So yes, take your vacations. Yes, plan your time away. Yes, be with your family when you need to be with them, but be at work when you need to be at work. This is so important. You have got to have a work schedule, and you've got to stick to it. I'm going to tag that guy in this so you all can follow him. He's amazing. Okay, let's see. Did that one. Okay, here's the last one. Getting clients that you love. It's nothing like it. You all need to start working with people that you enjoy working with. How many of you, don't put it in the comments because some of your clients may be following you, but how many of you sometimes go to your calendar for the day and you see names on there and you just sigh? I got to work with this person today. They take everything out of me. We're all going to have some of those. But can you take a look at your clientele? I want you all to go do that right now. I want you to go take a look at your clientele and tell me, how many of those people are you excited to work with? How many of those people do you love working with? How many of them, go look at it right now, your list of clients. I know you have it, your list of clients. How many of them get it? Like, they enrolled, they are compliant. That's a big thing. We hear this a lot. So a lot of you who are your coaches, your practitioners, and you struggle with your clients being compliant. They're not always doing what you ask them to do. And what happens? Tell me in the comments. What happens when your clients aren't doing what you ask them to do? It could be with their mental health, their mental emotional health, their physical health. They're not doing the thing. They don't get results. They're still sick because they're not compliant. Sometimes it's because they weren't ready for you. Sometimes it's because they didn't understand what the program was about. So you need to start working with clients who really are clear on what you do. And that's our job. So sometimes we're like, oh, they're not serious and they this and that. But it's actually our job to communicate from the front end very clearly what it is, the result that they should be looking for, and how we're going to go about getting it for them. When you're really clear on it in that way, you're going to attract more people. This also reduces this overwhelm. You're going to reduce the overwhelm because people know exactly what it is that you do. They want to work with you. They're excited about working with you, and they are attracted to you. Isn't it exhausting constantly looking for new clients? Isn't it exhausting? Those of you who have patience, how are you getting them? Isn't it exhausting? So what if you could set up something where people could come to you, and when they come, they know why they're coming and they're ready to work with you? So in that vein, this is what we do at Bold and Booked. How many of you have been to a Bold and Booked with us? boldandbooked.com. So now my team is going to be reaching out to you all individually because we do have discounts. If you're part of AIA or NAHA, you can all get discounts. There's other ways, I'm not sure, but the team will tell you. Bold and Booked is the event that we do a few times a year where we do real-time partnering with you, real-time sessions where we do this thing, where we work on this point right here, getting clients that you love, with getting clear on your speaking, what you do, how you do it, so that clients are coming to you. We're going to be sharing with you results that our people who have come through Bold and Booked, even before they start working with us in the mastery program, just coming through Bold and Booked, it is our lowest, ridiculously low price offer. And the reason that we do it that way is because it's an enrollment event. We want you to work with us in the mastery program, but we want you to experience partnering with us. And so we make it real, like a real training that we actually do with clients. You become a client right there at Bold and Booked and pay pennies to do it and get results. So we're also going to be sharing with you the results that people have gotten just coming to Bold and Booked, measuring in the thousands. We had one who came back to us after Bold and Booked and said that I had a person who was saying maybe, and they just signed on, over $2,000. We had one in the past, same thing. No, this person had told them no, same thing, $2,000. They were able to sign them up on a program, not even in our full program, just coming to an event like Bold and Booked. So we welcome you. We invite you to come to Bold and Booked. The link should be in our profile, but you can also just go to boldandbooked.com to find it. We want to see you there. Let's start working on this whole idea of being overwhelmed and underpaid. It's time. You know, more so than ever, this has always been so dear to my heart, but more so than ever, this last year, I have gotten so passionate about, I always have been, but we are so needed in the times that we live in right now. The work that all of us do. We're not the answer. We're not the cure-all to everything. But what each one of us, what we do, what we bring to the healthcare industry is phenomenal. And when we do it right, and when we give people options, and when we give them very clear, honest communication about how we can help them, it's powerful. It really is. And it's making a difference in people's lives, in their health, in their mental health, in their physical health, and in the whole industry. So let's do it right. Let's get you paid for what you do. Let's help to reduce the overwhelm so that you do a good job at what you do and you can help more people. So boldandbooked.com, make sure that you join us for that. We're looking forward to serving you over there in that. And like we promised, the next thing that we're going to do with you is actually a challenge. So this was a session, but the next thing we're going to do is a challenge over the mood and money. So be on the lookout for that here on this page. We're going to be talking about our mood and money, how all that works together. And the team will be posting about that very soon. I think we're going to do that next week. That was the one that you all voted for, that you were most interested in. And very, very, very excited. All right. See you all then. And thanks so much for taking the time to join us for this session. I hope you enjoyed it. Please put in comments what you liked about it. Send us a direct message. My team will be reaching out to you to see what you liked about it, to see if you saw it. Some of you will be tagged in here so that if you haven't seen it, you get a chance to take a look at it. And we hope that it was beneficial to you. Please share the specific things that you enjoyed the most, that moved the needle for you in your mind or in your business, that answered a question for you, that motivated you. I want to know what you thought about it. Okay, so thanks so much for taking the time to watch it. We always hope it's helpful, and I'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.